As we get closer to December 1st, there's a lot of parents that might be wondering, what do I do if my student still hasn't applied to colleges? Are we too late? Is all hope lost? The good news is, I don't want you to stress out. There are definitely options that are still available for you. And today we're really going to do a deep dive and talk step by step about the next things that you need to do to be ready for that college application process. Maybe your senior has already submitted applications and they've decided that they want to apply to an honors college, or they've decided that, you know what, just learned about this school and I want to make sure that it is on my list. It is somewhere that I think could be a really good fit. Or maybe you haven't looked at anything at all, despite having conversations, and everyone just feels overwhelmed. Hang in there, because I'm here to help and want to be able to walk through these next steps with you. If you also have underclassmen at home, this is still something that I would really encourage you to learn from, because this is going to help you know exactly what to expect in the coming years as you start that college application process with your own student. Now, the sooner you start thinking about everything for our underclassmen families, the more time you're going to have to not feel stressed. For those of you that have seniors, let's get this party started.
Hey there, I'm Courtney and I'm the founder of Confused to College Ready. With over 15 years experience as a mental health therapist turned school counselor, I am bringing my experience and expertise to help you navigate the college search experience. My goal is to serve students and their families and unlock the secrets to college searching. Stay tuned.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Courtney Counts. I'm the founder of Confused to College Ready, and I am so glad that you all are here. If I would just ask one favor, if you're listening on a podcast, if you will leave a review and just to let me know that these podcasts have been helpful for you, I would absolutely love that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification button so that you will be notified of any of our future episodes. So today, let's jump in. Is it too late to apply to colleges? The answer, some of you might not like this, is going to be that depends. So there are some really strict deadlines, like early application, early decision. Those have very strict deadlines with the different colleges where they are going to be looking for those materials. We're past most, if not all, of those deadlines at this point. When this is coming out, we are at the end of November in 2023. And so I just want to be clear that there are some of those deadlines that are passed, but there are some deadlines, regular decisions deadlines, that are still coming, and you might have some time. Now, with this being the end of November, if there's a December 1st deadline, we don't have a whole lot of time for that particular college, but there still could be some December 15th deadlines, some January deadlines, and then there also are some deadlines that are called rolling admissions or open admissions. So with those colleges, one of the things that happens is that the college will actually there isn't a set deadline that you have to get your information in by a certain point in order to stay enrolled or in order for your application to be reviewed. In those situations, what's going to happen is the colleges will review applications once everything has been fully submitted, and they make admissions decisions as applications come in and they review your submission. So for those of you that have seniors, we are getting to the point where we're in a time crunch. And so you really want to make sure that you are doing everything that's needed to stay on top of all of your applications to be able to get everything turned in. There are two different application deadlines that you need to be aware of. One is going to be the student portion of that deadline. So that's going to be things like the application itself, any self-reported information, if there's a student reported any kind of grades or test scores or any of those things, application fees. Then there are going to be supplemental materials. Some of these schools, they might have the same deadline, but others might be the part that students can control, that student portion of the application. That's something that could end up being done earlier. And you might have a supplemental deadline that's a little bit later, because that's giving time for school counselors to complete any kind of letters of recommendation or to send in transcripts, as well as counselors or teachers or coaches, anyone else needing to submit those letters of recommendation. So you want to really make sure that you are aware of what those deadlines are, because this next part that I want to talk about is where are you in the process? So if you have already talked to the people about letters of recommendation and you're putting in, this is an additional college that wasn't on the list at first, or it's an honors college, and so you know that some of those transcripts or letters of recommendation are ready, or if you haven't had some of those conversations, that's something that you really need to get a jump on. And so you want to make sure that you are contacting people about letters of recommendation and about sending those transcripts as soon as possible. Now, with it being late and having sometimes a really short turnaround time, I want you to make sure that you are respectful in how you are approaching your recommender. You want to ask them politely. You want to tell them as soon as possible about your deadline so that they know exactly when you are, what their turnaround time is, so that you want to make sure that they can write the best letter possible. Let them know that why this is something that's important to you, if this is something that you've added, or if you haven't, kind of explain your circumstances. You know what, I felt really overwhelmed. We spent a lot of time thinking about things, talking about it at home. I know that this is a more tight window than the 2 to 3 weeks that you typically ask for, but I would really love if you could write me a positive letter of recommendation. Know also with those letters, it might not be something where it's going to as detailed if you only have a couple of days left in your application process. Okay. So where are you in the process? You need to know where you are as far as having the documents, as far as talking with other people, having your list of activities. If you don't know those things, get that done as quickly as possible. So let's talk about colleges that have that open or rolling admission. So if you're still not sure where you want to apply, we talked about the open admission. That means that there's not a set date. And so colleges will review your application once that entire application packet is complete and they have everything from you and your recommender. If you're still not quite sure what colleges you want to apply to, there are several different tools that can be helpful for you. And I want you to search by application deadline. Okay. So College Board has their Big Future tool. It is a fantastic tool. You have information about your career searches, scholarship searches, college searches, and you can filter that out by your application date or what that application deadline is to see who is still accepting those applications. Then another website that I really like is College Express. So collegeexpress.com. I will link those in the show notes as well so that you have access to that. The other thing is find out if your school has any different college and career exploration platforms that they have paid for, that the district has paid for. This might be something like Naviance or Score. If there are different websites that have different options available to you, that would be another fantastic way to look. You can go back and listen to some of the other episodes, and I'll probably do some lives this week where we talk a little bit more about how you can narrow down some of the criteria that you are interested in as far as figuring out what college might be the best fit for you. Okay, so then we've got the actual applications themselves. So we talked about there's the student part of the application. There also is the recommender or supplemental portion of the application. And there are several different options. So the first one is the common application. This is one portal that you can go to and you can apply to multiple colleges. You still are going to have to enter all of the information for each individual college, but you're in one portal. There's the coalition application, the HBCU application, and then you also can apply directly to the college. So the biggest thing with that is you are going to have with the direct to college, you would have different portals. The HBCU app, the coalition app, and the common app, those are all going to be one portal where you can apply to multiple schools. That direct to college, you would have a different login. No matter what platform you use, you still are going to be using entering information for all of the different colleges. So the other thing to think about is if your school is using a platform like Naviance or Score, one of the things that has to happen in order for your transcripts and letters of recommendation to be sent is that your Common App account would need to be synced and linked to your account with Naviance or Score. And so if that doesn't happen, that can cause a delay with your documents being sent, because it's something where your counselor is going to end up having to call you into the office. You're going to have to make sure that everything is synced. Then you're going to have to make sure that you are able to go in and look at your portal to find out what's going on, why it's not working. And then from there, the counselor will be able to upload. Whereas if you apply directly to the college, you're not necessarily going to have all of the information. It can just be sent directly from Naviance. So those are some of the different application types. You really can choose what one you feel most comfortable with. The next thing I want to talk about is finances. So the really good thing is, in one of our last podcasts, we actually talked about the new FAFSA, and that's not updating until at some point in December is when that's going to open. So you're not behind there. There are definitely scholarship opportunities that you can look into. I would suggest that you work on getting those applications taken care of first. And then from there, we can take a look at looking at scholarship opportunities and see what else is available for you. Another important part of your application is going to be your personal statement or essays. Now, some colleges have specific questions that you need to answer. With Common App, they are going to have multiple prompts. And some of those with the Common App, some of the colleges are not going to require it, but you still have to submit it in order for your Common App to be seen as complete. The other thing is some of those Common App essays the college might be looking for an additional essay above and beyond. So my biggest advice with those essays is make sure that you're genuine. You want yourself to shine through. You don't want it to be a parent's writing it for you. You absolutely get feedback on it, ask someone to proofread, but you don't want it to be that someone else is actually writing the essay for you. The next thing that you want to do as you are looking at those essays, answer the questions, but be ready to have you shine through. So what is your unique personality, your qualities, your experiences, your goals, and what do you have to bring to that campus? You are letting the admissions committee know about you and how you're more than your transcripts, test scores, and other numbers. So that is something else to consider. I will say time is really of the essence right now. You need to be able to stay organized, get all of your needed documentation and paperwork together and move quickly, but also be careful. Double check your applications to make sure that you have entered everything correctly. If you're using a similar essay for multiple schools, make sure that as you submit an essay for one school, you're not putting another school's name on it. And then also make sure that you tell your recommenders thank you, especially if they have a quick turnaround. So those are some of the really, I think, important points that I want to make sure that you are focused on. If this is something that you're in senior year and it feels overwhelming and you're not quite sure what to do or where to go next, send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram at Confused to College Ready, or send me an email at admin@confusedtoready.com and just send the word deeper. You can put deeper in the subject. Let me know where you are in your journey and what you would like to talk through. I would be happy to schedule a free 15-minute phone call or Zoom meeting to be able to talk through everything and just help make sure that you have everything you need for your college application process. I hope this has been helpful. If it is, please let me know. Leave me a comment if there are specific questions that you have. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Confused to Ready, and download our free guide on how to start or expand your college search at confusedtoready.com/how to start.